Hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Mariam Youssef, and I'll be recording this presentation on behalf of Dr. Amiri from Tanzania. I'll be discussing today why governments should limit the use of genomic surveillance, particularly in the light of growing privacy concerns. Let's begin by understanding what genomic surveillance is. Simply put, it's the process of tracking pathogens using genetic information. This has been vital in managing diseases like COVID-19. However, while it's powerful, genomic surveillance is also invasive. It involves collecting extremely sensitive data, not just about pathogens, but also about us. Our genetic code is deeply personal, and its misuse could have serious consequences. This brings us to the core question of today's discussion. Should governments be allowed unrestricted access to such private genetic information? My position is clear. While genomic surveillance can be valuable for public health, especially in tracking disease outbreaks, its use by government must be strictly limited. Why? Because the potential for abuse, overreach, and misuse of sensitive data is simply too high. The key concern is this: once your genetic information is collected, there is no way to fully control where it goes or how it's used. Data leaks, unauthorized access, or unethical applications could have lifelong consequences. That's why strong limits and safeguards are not just recommended, they are essential. Let me now present three key arguments for why the use of genomic surveillance by governments should be limited. First, privacy invasion. Genomic data reveals much more than just health risks. It can expose ancestry, predispositions, and identity. Governments could misuse this information for profiling, mass surveillance, or even discriminatory policies. This is not hypothetical, it's already happened in some parts of the world. Second, ethical and legal risks. In many countries, there are no clear legal safeguards governing how genetic data is collected, stored, or shared. Without strong protections, the door is open to serious ethical violations, including the exploitation of vulnerable groups. Third, public trust and consent. If people believe their data could be misused, they might avoid getting tested or sharing important health information. This undermines the very goal of genomic surveillance, protecting public health. So, while the technology is powerful, its use must be carefully and strictly limited to protect individuals and society. So, yes, it's true. Genomic surveillance can help track variants and respond to outbreaks more quickly, but we have to ask at what cost? The collection of highly personal genetic data by governments opens the door to long-term privacy violations and potential misuse. And it's important to remember we have alternatives. Methods like contact tracing, wastewater analysis, and symptom tracking have all been proven effective in managing public health without needing to collect sensitive genetic data for individuals. We don't have to sacrifice our right to privacy to protect public health. We can do both by choosing safer, less invasive tools. In conclusion, genetic surveillance, when left unchecked, can become a slippery slope toward genetic overreach and the erosion of civil liberties. Yes, protecting public health is important, but so is protecting human rights, privacy, individual freedom. These values are not mutually exclusive. We are not arguing against science or safety, we are arguing for strict limitations, clear safeguards, and ethical oversight. What we need is not blind trust in data collection, but accountable governance that respects both our health and our humanity. Thank you for listening. I'd like to open the floor to any questions that you might have.